Okay. Hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna do some Planet Zoo today. I have never played this game. At most I have made my avatar and put them on the map because they're already on the map, and that's it. So mostly because I tried to load this on my laptop and it wouldn't load very well because my laptop is old. So now I'm on my streaming computer and yeah, it's just a normal game, but I also have the Africa DLC because it has meerkats in it, so of course I had to get it, and my friend got me a Steam gift card for my birthday this year, so yeah, that's what I used some of it on. But yeah, and since the game is full screen, I have my stream stuff to my left, so that's why I look over. I'm just making sure everything looks good. I guess we'll just get started with career. So maybe I can learn how to play through that. Play objectives against the clock, one big list of objectives for each scenario. Bronze, silver, gold stars reward based on how long it takes you to complete all the objectives. Objectives can uncomplete if they're not maintained. Okay. So yeah, let's do career scenarios. Because it says tutorial, so that's probably a good place to start. So Goodwin House. So yeah, I have not played this game, but I grew up playing Zoo Tycoon, and you know, I did stream quite a bit of it in the past of Zoo Tycoon too. So just gotta lower my chair a bit. I probably was a little daunting on camera, but yeah, so yeah. I have not played this though, so I'm excited. So Goodwin House, renovated and renamed after its purchase by Bernard Goodwin in the 1980s, Goodwin House has since become one of the most respected zoos in the country. More recently, it has undergone a further renovation to update many of the habitats and facilities, but due to various issues, the work hasn't quite been completed, which is where you come in. Okay. We'll just keep that medium, I guess. And just see how it goes from there. I do usually do easy on games just because I'm playing the game for fun, usually not for a challenge, but we'll see how this goes with just medium. So I'm guessing that's like normal difficulty. The flamingo's walking. Jeez. Editing train, hold control to temporarily apply the pull brush instead of push, and vice versa. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to learn like all the controls and stuff. I did not know the loading screen would take this long. Walk, flamingo, walk! Get ideas on how to improve your zoo by reading guest thoughts. Okay. Also, I've kind of decided that I'm gonna do Inktober just on my own. Mostly just because it's hard for me to draw and capture it really well with my current setup, so I was just gonna post pictures of drawings that I do on my Instagram. The music stopped. It just made me think that it's almost finished loading. Oh, We're seeing something. There we go. Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language.
There's voice acting in this game.
It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets.
Okay.
As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This
Bear.
is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And pride, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off.
Okay.
Don't worry though, I'm not completely throwing you into the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand.
Nancy Drew?
Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Okay. So we're holding down right click, camera around. I see a grizzly bear. Zachary. Contraceptives. Okay. So locate the grizzly bear habitat, okay. To grizzly bear animal camera. So camera. Cinematic. Grizzly bear butt. It's pretty much what I see when I go to the zoo in real life. Just the grizzly bear butt.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year?
Same.
But then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
Okay.
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Mika. Look at that. Okay.
See, now this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Okay.
Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions.
Peekaboo.
I've marked their location for you to find.
What's this? Let's go. West African lion. A Zoopedia. Aardvark. I love African wild dogs. We used to have them at the zoo near me, but they don't have them anymore. Not for a couple of years. Or elephants. And they have rhinos instead of elephants. It's a Bastine! Ooh, a boa constrictor. Bongos, I saw those at Animal Kingdom. Cheetahs, look it! We saw kind of cheetahs, they were in the distance, laying in the grass, and we saw warthogs. Look it, I want one! I'm getting distracted by all the animals. A hairy scorpion, it doesn't look very hairy. Panda. Snails. Gila monster, I want one. I think they look cool, but they're pretty dangerous. Because they bite you. Grizzly bear. Critically endangered. Mono dragon. They have those at the zoo near my house. The closest zoo. But they didn't have that exhibit open last time I visited. We're losing money! It's not my zoo, technically. Look, meerkats! Domesticated, I wish. Oh, it's so cute. Okapi. Red panda. It's so sad that a bunch of these are like endangered. On the Zoo Tycoon game, giraffes are not endangered. They are now. We don't know about scarab beetles. Ooh, crocodile. That's more like a bastion because he's poofy. Hyena. Snakes are so cool. Okay. Objectives, there you go. Okay, yes, I located it.
Panthera Leo Leo. All the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride. Although prides of that size are pretty rare.
What are you doing, sir? Jumped in there.
Say, those lions are awesome. Which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Rawr, rawr. Okay.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Okay. Well.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Maybe that's what I want to do.
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home? when you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre,
Custom
collect your
seizure.
animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
You've marked it, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about.
Run!
They move those animals to
Run!
their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall
Just do the box in there. Oh,
statistic to
Jesus.
indicate how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment.
Okay.
Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
Okay.
Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station, and for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Okay. How do I do that, though? Get it there so people can see them eat. And there.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Okay, place enrichment toy. Mud bath.
Oh,
Boom.
nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see.
Thanks, fam.
Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a pharaoh state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Okay.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration.
There's no
It'll stop
fast
the zoo
routers.
spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
That gate. Boom.
Right, let's complete
Jesus.
the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Interesting.
Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see in.
Fix my chair. Interesting. Okay. Just turn this all into glass.
There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them. Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
Okay.
By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. Alright, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
Okay, so I'm trying. Did I break it because somehow I destroyed the thing? The gate's not there anymore. Oh my goodness. I'm going to just reload. The loading screen takes forever. Download blueprints from the Steam Workshop. Interesting. Let's start over. So we can go through it really fast. Yeah, it's a rhino. Let's go, 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 let's go. Ba-ba-ba. Walk, Rhino, walk. You can do it. He's walking, he's walking. Ba-ba-ba.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah, oh,
Can't skip the dialogue, sorry guys.
I have a habit.
It is loading better though.
Back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home.
Oh, I was gonna say, the bear's not loading?
This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prize, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry though, I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand.
Oof.
Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or Even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarise you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Rawr. Bear butt.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too. Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel. See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it. Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
Not a baby in the background? It is, it's only 6 months old.
The West African lion to you and me.
A baby!
Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in
Oh
a
gosh.
although cats of that size are pretty rare.
Where are you
As
going?
Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
You following your mama? You're going through the floor? You okay, little buddy? Okay, you made it out. Jesus. Okay.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, 2 somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Guys are running. Pick up boxes.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat,
Run!
your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
Run! Cinematic camera of my employee running down the
Well,
on the
as
road.
you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat. But I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy.
Okay.
You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment.
Boop.
Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll
Boop.
bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
Here you go. Then you guys are gonna fill their food.
Oh, nice
Water.
work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, Our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a pharaoh state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the Ostrich Habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, before we actually start building our Ostrich Habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this Ostrich Habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier.
Done.
Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Passion, thank you for resubbing.
Good work.
For 5 months in a row, thanks.
Before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected
You have to
barriers.
make sure you had to pause the
Now,
game.
You've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder.
Here we go.
Select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see it.
It's been, yeah, it's been, that's crazy. I think it can just be any section, so...
There we go. Adding in more windows gives
Okay.
guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat.
Hi, Lindsay
It's always
Jones
best to make sure the guests
pausing the
get a
game to be,
good
yep.
view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an
Facilities.
animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main
Done.
sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Okay, the barrier's still there. So...
By the way,
For the,
as
yeah,
well
the
as
gate.
pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button.
Let's
It
buy
will
some
run everything
ostrich
at 2
juice.
times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish.
There we go.
All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
I'm waiting.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Okay. Found objectives complete. Most popular species, African lion, medium.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs.
We got the statue lion.
Actually run.
Statue lion.
43
Wouldn't it be lion
miles
statue?
per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Here they come. Oh, jeez.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier
Yeah,
for the keepers
3 girls
to feed
and 1
the
boy.
ostriches
Yep.
and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals. You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path.
Interesting. Okay. Does that look okay?
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests
Okay.
don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness
Interesting.
negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we?
Okay. Facilities.
Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
Okay.
Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt
Tigers.
some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Okay.
Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete
From
and bricks,
scratch?
I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier.
Okay.
Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Move the camera down, please. Thank you. Here we go. I just need to add a gate. Put the gate. Right there.
Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode.
Hang on, I'm making glass.
Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Ah! Clicking and dragging. Wait, can you repeat that?
Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
So like that. Haha.
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters. Now that the habitat is in place,
Okay.
don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch. Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate's in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Tigers! Look at them! Oh, I love them. Okay.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival.
Okay.
We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Habitat. Food and water. Food tray. Can I rotate this? Is it haha? It's obstructed?
This time,
There we go.
instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different.
Okay.
Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool. Yes, that'll do nicely.
Okay.
Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitats?
Does the water go away?
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
Okay. There we go. That's how they get in. Okay. How's that?
Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
Okay.
Rightio, click on the terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
More short grass, less long grass. Okay.
Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Select soil, are you sure? Oh yeah then.
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social welfare.
Okay, interesting. You made like a
Now then,
maze for them to live in?
and select them to open an information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese.
A few adult and juveniles
Expand
in
their
animal social group.
welfare, and we can get a bit more detail.
A few adults and juveniles. Okay.
Now, they've clearly got plenty of space and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong.
I already did that.
Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
Boop. Boop. And boop. Okay.
Good work on those peafowls. I
Thanks,
expect
fam.
they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
Okay. There's a lot on my screen right now. What's wrong, snow leopard?
Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by the lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes
He's
of the
sleeping.
guests.
No barriers. One-way glass.
Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather. You should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat.
Why did you name your leopard this? Jesus. Like, ah, she's so cute. And then temperature.
As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered.
Okay. That good? Or another one? 3.
You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
Well then why don't you start with snow and rock? Why do you have it with grass?
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And
Okay.
that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Animal alerts. Does it say what you're doing? I know in the attracted protesters. I got distracted. Zoo management.
As you can see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
I got an achievement. Team achievement. Yes. The tigers are doing better. Okay, good. I thought I saw the water disappear. Oh, I can rename them. Hey, what's wrong with you, the lady? Efficient, okay. Then you need more long grass, need more sand. More sand, more long grass, okay. So let's first... Oh, jeez. I don't know what kind of shelter you would like. Okay, what are you? You are giant tortoise. Maybe I can type in giant tortoise. Yeah, that works. And let's see. Maybe I can do the terrain. We want long grass. You'd like some sand. We've got enough sand, and then I'll make long grass over here. There we go. And let me see. Let me then I want to get a bigger one, I think. That good for you? Yep. That's good. Yes, okay, you guys are happy now, so here we go. Now let's go to the giraffes. And the zebras. It's a baby zebra. Okay, let's see. What do you need? Enrichment? You need more long grass and... Let's see, more long grass and less soil. Okay. I think I'll increase the intensity. Okay, so the long grass is in the green, but I'm gonna add a little bit more, cover up the soil some more, and then when that gets too high, if at all, then I'll switch to short grass. To cover up the rest. The rest of the soil. Beep beep. I guess toot toot. I'll switch to short now. There's some more soil I can cover. There we go, everything's in the green, yep. 69%. I think your issue, yeah, is enrichment now. You need food enrichment and toy enrichment. So habitat, enrichment. I'm gonna put giraffe. Put a rubbing pillar on that side.
Not bad at all.
I did it!
It's fair to say that that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours.
I
There's
did
still
it.
lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Here, let's return to the menu. Yeah, I don't need to save the tutorial, Zoo. I don't need to save the tutorial. Oh, goodness. I'm actually gonna go get something to drink really quick. I will be right back. Hello, I am back. I got a drink. I got some soda. Because why not? Okay, we're back. Yes, okay. Because you don't see my... have my cursor not going up. Might actually there we go, now my cursor's showing up. Let's see. Ooh, we have a bunch of... well, I think those are always new. We got another tutorial, and then we got this. So let's do the next tutorial. Why not? The Ape Apprenticeship. The Madagascar Simian Conservation Project. Jesus. The Madagascar Simian Conservation Zoo is the culmination of Bernard Goodwin's work in the region, specialized in simian breed and release programs as well as championing, that's weird, and highlighting the diverse species of apes and monkeys. But never one to be complacent, Bernard now wants to see what you can do in this most promising of locations. Okay. Let's go. Now you can see my cursor. Now I just have another loading screen. It's a turtle! Hopefully the game's faster than the tortoise. Inspecting keepers will bring fresh food only if animals have not been recently fed. If you're at the Velocicoaster, they never feed them, so they will try and eat you. Like, I was a little intimidated of this game because Zoo Tycoon, like, it's the same with Jurassic World Evolution, like Alex loves that game. And I'm interested in kind of playing it, but I'm a little intimidated because I'm not used to having to figure out power. Like, in Zoo Tycoon, you just, okay, exhibit here, and then, oh, there's lights here, and then food places, like, you don't have to worry about power, so that's a little intimidating to me, which seems kind of ridiculous, but I'm just not used to that kind of mechanic in the previous, like, zoo building games I've played. So I'm hoping that they kind of go more into the power mechanics in one of these tutorials. Music's starting to mess up a bit, so we must be close to actually having it low. Education boards and speakers only successfully educate guests if the animal they are linked to is close by. Okay. Slowly getting there.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary. We're doing vitally important conservation work, not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world...
The way of the world.
is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives. Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
Jesus. Cow! Cow!
What do you think of Madagascar then? Bit warm for my tastes, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh?
We need more cows.
The red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Boop.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Masoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
How many of these are there? Hello. Running around? Okay, let's move on.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvelous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo that they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet.
Hello.
You don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
I already did. There's a baby. I want to see the
Aren't they
baby.
just incredible?
Hello.
When you're ready,
It's so
let's go and have a look-see at some of our
cute.
beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
0.4 years old. So like 3 months old? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to do math.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed.
Uh-oh.
And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel.
People are screaming. People are screaming.
Good. Now open the animals tab.
Yes. Box all animals.
Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement, Sharpish.
Shouldn't you have done it before your other vet
Go
left?
into the zoo section and then into the staff management area.
Okay.
You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet.
I'm trying.
Now, click on one of the paths to place the vet in your zoo. Great. Now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alert to jump to the escaped bonobo. And then click on the Call Vet button to call the vet over to capture it.
Oh, vet. Go get him. Look at him running.
Oh, okay, that's a relief. So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their
Run!
habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there.
I'm going. Okay, replace the boundary wall.
As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced.
Okay.
Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
So barriers. Grab you and then delete. Okay. Then boop.
Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that. Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done. And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring out the habitat information panel again.
Okay.
And then open the animals tab.
Unbox.
So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble, and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals.
I did it.
Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area again.
Giant panda.
Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a
Thanks,
couple-
fam.
Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Oh, I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly, and more importantly, without the animals stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
Boo.
Now, you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it.
Okay. Gotta
If you select the
rotate.
research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building.
It does?
Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good.
Right, splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs.
Okay.
Go into the zoo section and select vet research.
Vet research. Ring-tailed lemur.
Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research. Actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights.
Okay.
First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
Education boards. To align, turn on align to surface, make placing the boards easier. Let's rotate you. And then like that. Oops. Boop.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel.
Okay. Ring-tailed lemur.
And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious.
Yep.
When you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much.
Speaker.
Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
Okay. Tailed lemur, and then
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards.
okay, it's over there. Like I'm losing it and all the people. Let me click on my speaker, please. Thank you.
Fantastic! Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area.
Research complete.
Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue
there's some
to research an
babies.
animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
Okay. Yeah.
Now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space. and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel.
Let's get them a big one.
Next, click on the Terrain tab.
Terrain tab? I have that open.
Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you.
Thanks, ma'am.
You can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch.
No, thank you.
By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes. Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
In the lemur habitat, I'm trying.
Lovely.
Here we go.
Now select the Animals tab.
Animals tab. Now what?
There we go. As you can see, we can set the food
There you go.
quality in here. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Grade 2 Food Quality. Grade 2 Food Quality. My mouth's already watering.
I did it.
So, a new climbing frame and
That
better
animal
food.
noise made me jump.
Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities. Releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age
I don't
is an
know.
important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits will be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's pop over to our orangutan habitat. Okay, I'd like you to find Ageng, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please. You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat barrier, go to the Animals tab in the Habitat Information panel, and find him in the Animals list.
Goodbye. I feel kind of bad, but I shouldn't be attached to these guys because they're not mine. Say goodbye.
Sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
Thanks. You have potential. So, thank you.
I see you've been doing some homework. Although, it hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
Boo. Gila monster! Gila monster! I love Gila monsters.
Lovely. Now let's build a new exhibit in the gap that's been left. Just add it to the building like we did with the research centre earlier. Then pop it into the gap.
Okay, I'll try. Oh, animal. Boop.
Perfect. The next thing to do
Perfect.
is adopt an exhibit animal to go in there. How about a Gila monster? Open up the exhibit trading section and adopt one.
Mm. Animals being adopted for cash. You cannot be released into the wild. Okay.
Just as we do with habitat animals, we need to send the Gila monster to the exhibit. Click on the exhibit to send it there.
Get in there. Get in there.
When you send an animal to an exhibit, it'll automatically be given the correct setup. But that doesn't mean it's completely ready for them. So let's finish it off.
Okay.
We'll start by adding some enrichment items. Click on the exhibit to bring up its information panel.
Okay.
Good. Now click on the Layout tab.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm sure you know by now, you can unlock more enrichment levels by having one of your vets do some research. Now we'll also need to set the temperature and humidity in the exhibit. These are vitally important for keeping our Gila monster happy and comfortable. Click on the Climate tab.
Use 37. That's in the middle.
Here you can see the Gila monster's desired temperature and humidity. You can change both of these by adjusting the dials below. Make sure it's going to be
20%.
nice and cozy.
There are people already looking.
That's the ticket. And the last thing we need to look at is setting up the different windows. So click on the Windows tab.
Okay.
There's also an exhibit education board. Pop them down near your exhibits to teach your guests about them. Let's add one now.
Ooh. Education board. And let's rotate you. And I have to click on you. Oh, not the kid. I need the thing. Get out of my way. There we go. Gila monster.
Lovely stuff. Now our guests can learn all about our venomous friend here. Right.
Yes,
now,
he is a friend.
I've got a bit of a big job for you. I need you to increase the number of species in the zoo. You'll probably want to adopt both habitat and exhibit animals to do so, which will mean building plenty of new habitats and exhibits for them. Go on, off you pop. I'll check in with you when you're almost done.
We have 9 right now. Ooh, an iguana. I see it. I see it. Okay, so we have 9 animals right now. We need to get up to 12, like species, not just animals. So, yeah. That's the entrance, it looks like. Yep. This looks like a big area to build exhibits in, and or habitats, I should say. Well, species. Okay, let's see. Animal trading. Hippos. Okay, so can I? Oh, it's raining. What kind of animals do we have already? Novo. Okay. Some people have umbrellas, some don't. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see, facilities. Oh, animal exhibit. I'm just trying to build it on like the ground. I want it to bring it up. Guess maybe I should do basics and then placement controls. Okay, so shift. There we go. Because it's hard to see where I'm at when it's raining. Can I move? Yes. You guys are floating. Okay. In construction, can I make pathways? We got paths. Oh, it's disabled? Let's move you. Then pathway. Let's see, I need to make power. I guess I need to rotate you. Maybe not. Paths. You are empty. You are powered now. Did you do a giant tiger land snail? New research, thank you. Let's change, let's see. Layout. Climate, humidity needs to go down. Okay. Here we go. Did that add another species? Yes, it did. Okay. Let's see. Animal trading. Do we have it to pair yet? We do not. Okay. Then a western chimpanzee. Do we have a western chimpanzees yet? Nope. Let's make more pathways. It's not very pretty, but oh well. I don't know what I'm doing. But now let's see, let's make bears. Boop. Okay, and then hopefully that's big enough. Ba, 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 ba. Oop. Then can I make a pathway going this way? Right. That? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing now. Animal training. Have a taper. Email, let's get you. So we have a boy and a girl. And then it's like, make a berry. You can't see this. don't know what I'm doing. I think move you like here, then they won't see it. It's even like in the ground. Abilities. Maybe it goes. Maybe it's under habitat. Okay, hang on. Barriers. No. Gosh. Yep. Donation. Okay. And then do I need to make a pathway leading to it? Don't think so. Maybe I do. Okay, I do. Now let's see. I don't have gates. Need gates. Okay. Then I think I need to make a path. Continue this pathway. There we go. That looks fine. It's not pretty, but sorry. I'm not good at this. Okay, thanks. Okay. Do, 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 do. Here we go. Let's just adopt all of them. Why not? Okay. Now, reading. You and you. Into the zoo, you're going here. And we want to make you happy. It's my friend Jasmine. I guess her avatar's here. Interesting. Are they on their way? Must be. Yep, they're moving. Ah, it's raining. It's raining. It's starting to rain. Okay. Here they are. Here they come, here they come. How big is the box gonna get? How big are the boxes gonna get? $11. Your train looks good. You want a shelter. Need a swimming area. Okay.
My, you have been busy, haven't you?
Thanks, fam.
Splendid! But now that you've adopted all these lovely new species, we need to make sure they're nice and happy. So let's get the average welfare across the zoo nice and high, shall we? And by we,
Working on it.
you. Go on, get to it.
Habitat. Food and water, and you are. And you need toys. Cardboard box. Now let's do mud bath and a rubbing pillar. See, I need to get it to 90%, average to 90. Okay, I'm gonna pause really quick. It's like, how do I know what you'd like for plants? Look at my Zoopedia. Temperate tropical grassland. Fun fact. So maybe just look up tropical. Nice. And then we need to actually get you a shelter as well. Your welfare's up to 90, so I guess you should be fine. Yeah, and then you guys' welfare is low because I haven't made anything for yours yet, so... You guys need more space. So I'm gonna... add to your barriers. I think I can move them. Need more? You need more? Barriers. So yeah, we'll move you up, and then I'm gonna add more. Go, and then that. Let's look at you. Okay, your space is good. Need a climbing area, so habitat climbable for chimp. Okay, it did update, so more. More climbing things. How's that? More? More? Okay. Need more short grass. Terrain. Short grass. That's good. Okay. They need a shelter, so habitat, shelters. That's big. That's bigger. Okay. Boxing all you, and then where are the barriers? Need all of you. Select all of it. And then did I make it not climbable? It's hard for me to tell when it's all. We can just do both to be safe. So select everything again. Nope, undo that. Okay. Oop, she's running. They're running. Oh, while that's happening, let me maybe do food and water for you guys. You guys wanted some trees, so some trees. All the way down to W. Tropical, okay. Can I box everyone now? Okay. How's my welfare percentage? 83. Average. So you guys need enrichment. More plant and tree coverage. Enrichment, so habitat, enrichment items, toys. Ba-ba-ba. Here we go. Okay. Now okay, we need just, it looks like one more toy. Do a block of ice right there. And food enrichment. Puzzle. There we go. Then you guys need more plants, so here we go. Then I'm actually gonna go and add another donation box. 96%, nice. So now let's see, where is my enrichment percentage at? 86, so let's check my animals, welfare. The bonobos need some help. Let's look at where you are. What do you guys need? Enrichment? And you need more shelter. Okay. I'm gonna do, let's see. Make sure I spell it right. No, bow. Let's do one of these. And then maybe do another one like that. There we go. That looks good. And you need enrichment. Okay. So I need food and normal. Okay, so enrichment items, food. Put a block of ice with some food in it. And then a toy feeder. There we go. And then toys. Musical keyboard.
Lovely job there. You
Here we
should
go.
be proud of yourself.
I did it.
Not only have you expanded the zoo and kept the animals as happy as Lanny, but you didn't bankrupt us in the process. Amazing!
And that's actually all that I have time for today. I don't need to save. This is just a tutorial level. But yeah, that's all I have time for to stream today. Yeah, we'll play more of this tomorrow, and the stream will be a lot longer, and I'll start at my normal time. It's just today I had a lot of errands to run, so yeah. Yeah, so thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!